Hi, fam. Welcome. I'm not even gonna say welcome back. I should be saying welcome back to myself because I've been going for a while. I'm sure you all have not. For my new viewers and my beloveds, thank you for tuning in. My name is Elle. I have been going for quite some time because I have been experiencing some physical ailments, and these physical ailments have prevented me from staying connected to you all via vlog. However, they have not prevented me from staying connected to you via spirit. So here I am, and I am feeling better. And a lot of things have been happening. I will definitely do vlogs explaining to you all of the wonderful things that I have experienced and what has been happening, why I've been going away. I will give you some information now as to why I have been away, because it has something to do with the winter solstice that we experienced on December 21st. 21st. Today is December 23rd, and my intention was to do a couple of vlogs before today and before a lot of the other things that were happening with regards to the energy and the planets happened. But like I said, I was not feeling well, and I wanted to really find out what was going on with me because I have been experiencing some chest pain since April. So on the day of the winter solstice, I was actually in the hospital taking some tests. All of the tests came back fine. I did some tarot card readings, and everything I found out was just reinforcement of the fact that the physical ailments that I have been feeling are signs and symptoms of me going through an initiation, as well as downloading the intense energy that we have been surrounded by. So, this vlog is going to be about the winter solstice, because that is one of the things that we have experienced more recently. So I'm looking down at my notes because I don't want to babble any more than I already have, because I'm getting a lot of messages from the higher dimensions. And if you hear my music in the background, my music is all about letting go, because that's what the solstice is about. It's about letting go and rebirth, regeneration. So we experienced the winter solstice on 12/21. 12/21 holds very significant vibrations in and of itself, and I'll explain that to you as well. We experienced the solstice 12/21 at 11:48 p.m. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, and for us over here, the winter solstice is when we in the Northern Hemisphere experienced more hours of night than hours of day. So the night was longer than the day in the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, they experienced more hours of day. For the Southern Hemisphere, it was the beginning of summer. For the Northern Hemisphere, where I am, it is the beginning of winter. Um, the winter solstice represents the birth of the sun, the spiritual rebirth, the rebirth of spirit, the birth of of our consciousness, in the process of our awakening and enlightenment. It represents the growth of our divine self, the growth of our soul after we have been able to identify those aspects of our shadow selves. The sun represents light. It represents the heat that we are provided for naturally. It represents, I'm sorry, it represents light being provided to us so that we know where we're going. It provides us with energy. Symbolically and spiritually, metaphysically, the sun represents our enlightenment. It represents our awakening, our spiritual life, our individual spiritual life. It represents the source of our creation as a soul. So during the winter solstice, our ancestors celebrated the winter solstice for 3 days, from December 21st to the 24th. The time period for our ancestors of those 3 days was the period when they looked up in the sky and they noticed and they saw that the sun stood still. The sun just basically, it just didn't move. There was no movement of the sun for those 3 days. And during that period of time, being that the sun didn't move, and there was more hours of night, it represented our souls being in a period of darkness, whereby we were able to connect with our shadow side. We were able to identify more with those characteristics and energies of ourselves that we felt like we were ashamed of, or that we did not want to admit, or we felt that we needed to make some type of improvement on. And during those 3 days, we were able to sit in the darkness of ourselves and meditate and learn more about our shadow side and that dark side of us, so that we would be able to bring harmony and balance between our sun and our moon, our light and our dark, our heart and our soul, our conscious and our subconscious. With those 3 days gave us the ability to meditate and find unity within our yin and yang, feminine and male side. Oh my God. That was so scary. There's a fairy in my room and it scared the living shooshie out of me. Anyway. So yeah. So that is one of the things that the winter solstice represented for our ancestors. A period of time within the year whereby we were given the opportunity to sit with ourselves in darkness, so that we could wipe everything clean. We could set new intentions. We can let go of that which no longer serves us. We could let go of those things that we are holding on to that do not serve our higher good. And during those 3 days, it was like we were kind of sort of like in spiritual death, so to speak, because there was more darkness. Our divinity was not illuminated. We were in a period of trying to figure out how we can improve ourselves. On the 25th, that is the day in which we were reborn. That's the day in which the sun started to move again and the hours of sunlight started to increase. Like I said, the sun provides us with life. It provides us with heat. It provides us with direction. It represents um, our spiritual consciousness. It represents our enlightenment. It represents us being awake and evolving and ascending. And the winter solstice is the beautiful time of the year whereby we are able to go into that darkness and connect with our shadow side so that we can use the information that we learn from our shadow side and unite it and find balance within our shadow and our light side, so that when the time of rebirth comes, when the time where our sun is shining for more hours during the day than we are having hours of night, we are rebirthed into a complete and new spiritual individual, whereby we were able to harmonize and balance both sides of ourself so that we can bring this energy up to the surface for our betterment. Now, the numbers 12 and 21 are extremely significant with regards to the energy of the solstice, because the number 1 represents new beginning, rebirth, um, setting new intentions, wiping your slate clean, getting rid of that which does not serve you any purpose, being able to identify those things that do not serve you any purpose, and having the strength to let them go so that you can free up space for those things that you want to start in your life, the new things that you want in your life. The energy of 2 represents going from duality and separation to unity and oneness, being able to find harmony and balance. So the energy of 1 and 2, 12, 21, which was when we experienced the winter solstice, is very significant and combines with the energy of the winter solstice, which helps us even more to lovingly um, look at and investigate our shadow side so that we can bring those aspects of ourself that we might not necessarily want to admit. That's part of us. And bring them to the forefront, bring them to the surface so that we can see that these aspects of ourselves also make us a complete person. Like, how do I say this? How do I say this, Al? We all have shadow sides that we may not necessarily want to admit, identify, or even pay attention to. But the more we do not pay attention to those things within ourselves that we might not necessarily like, the more power we give them, the stronger they become. If, say, me, perfect example, part of my shadow side is that my mouth is nasty. Like, I will tell somebody the truth about a situation or themselves or whatever the case is, and my mouth is no holds barred. And I had to come to a point in my life whereby I realized that although that's a part of me, and it's a part of me that I don't necessarily like to express, it is still a part of me. And it's a part of me that if and when I was able to find some type of balance, I can definitely use it to my advantage. And fortunately for me, I was able to do that. And I was able to do it with love. I was able to do it without being hard on myself and without being hard on others. I got to the point whereby I realized that it that part of me isn't so much of a bad thing, because I have learned to use it in such a way that it helps me, as well as it being of help and a blessing to other people. Now, in the past, it was just like out of control, but now I've gotten to the point whereby I've found balance within myself, that I can use that more shadow slash darker side of my personality to be real with myself, to be real with other people in a kind, gentle, and loving way, and not a harsh and mean and just like out and out rude way. So, that's one really perfect example of identifying with an aspect of yourself that you may not necessarily want to identify with, that could be a shadow, part of your shadow side, and learning that it is part of who you are, and it's part of it's part of what makes you who you are, and you can definitely use it for your betterment. You just have to find some type of equilibrium and balance within both sides of yourself, within the light side and the dark side of yourself, and the energy of the number two, as well as the energy of the winter solstice, will definitely help us to find the balance that we need, so that we can move forward with ourselves as a complete and unified being, so that we can grow and shine once the sun starts to have more daylight hours. Once the sun starts to gain strength, our divine self will also gain strength, because we were able to combine those both the dark and the light aspects of ourselves. Um, and this will start, like, you may have already started to feel like you're, I don't really want to think about this part of myself, but okay, let me think about it. Okay, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this is coming up. I can't believe that I'm feeling this way. I can't believe I may have gotten into this type of discussion with this person. You may feel like a lot of things are coming up that you might not necessarily want to address, but these things are coming up with this energy so that you can address them and move them out of the way, so that you will be free. You may start to feel certain ways about certain things or certain ideas or beliefs that you have. When these things come up, don't try not to be hard on yourself, and try not to hold on to them. They're coming up so that they can be like triggers for you to say to yourself, hey, this is coming up. It doesn't make me feel good, so maybe I should let it go. And once we are able to identify those things that no longer serves us purpose, once we're able to get in a state of detachment and get in a state of not expecting things to happen or turn out the way that we want them to, or expect them to, or think they should, then we are in the energy of freedom. And once we get into that energy of freedom, of not being attached to circumstances, not being attached to outcomes, not being in that mind frame of, and that feeling of expecting things, we are blessed with the freedom of being able to let go of that which doesn't serve us. And with that freedom comes a knowing that everything will be okay, a knowing that everything is playing out for our betterment, and everything plays out in a divine plan for the betterment of who we are. Once we get to that knowing, we are filled with love. We're filled with nothing but love. Because once you know that no matter what happens, and you're not attached to the outcome, you're just more of an observer, you'll start to love and appreciate the things that you experience, the interactions that you have, and the communication that you have with yourself and other people. And once you get to that point of loving, then everything starts to move. Everything starts to move in a different way. Everything starts to be more fluid. You'll notice that things are happening for your betterment. You'll notice that your thought pattern is different. You'll notice that you'll feel differently. You'll feel more lovingly. You want to give more of yourself to yourself. You want to give more of yourself to other people. Love is not stagnant. Love doesn't have rules. Love doesn't have regulations. Love is not something that you sign on a line. That's not what love is. Love is constantly flowing. Love is constantly moving. Love is newness. It's non-attachment. It's not non it doesn't have any restrictions or fences or rules. Like, do you ever remember like meeting somebody and like not having to ask them whether or not they have feelings for you? You don't even need to ask them that question, because you feel the energy, you feel the love flowing from them, and they can feel the love flowing from you. You know that every time you meet them, you just have to be on your best. You got to have your hair done, you got to have your clothes is all new. All of the conversations that you have are just new and fresh, and they're about new and exciting things. And when you do have conversations with this other individual, you're stimulated and motivated to do research and to learn new things, or so that the next time that you have a conversation with them, it's just like amazement, like, oh my goodness, did you know? Oh my goodness, did you know? Like, that is what love is. Love is about newness. It's about freshness. It's about birth. It's about it's just like it's just so like this right now is my moon is coming out. I'm very animated now when I'm talking about love, because it's a very intense emotion that is constantly moving. It's not stagnant. It's not just talking on the phone because you have to talk on the phone. It's not sending a text and sitting there expecting a reply. Love is sending a text because you feel deep emotions deep down in your heart, and you just want to share. You want to compliment. You want to express admiration and gratitude and appreciation for. Love is not, I know I'm doing this because I'm going to get this back, or I expect this, or I have to do this to make this person feel this way, or that's not what all of this is about. Love is about, and the energy of this solstice is about letting go of those rules and those things that keep you in a box and that keep you in a fence, that are not making you feel good, that don't have anything to do with love. And putting them out of your way so that you can make the space that you need for your divine self to shine once the sun starts to shine in the sky for more hours during the course of the day. That's what all of this is about. It's about going into that dark spot and figuring out what you don't love. Letting that go. Because what you don't love is all about expectations. It's all about rules. It's all about attachments. It's all about trying to have control over what happens and not realizing that by letting go and going with the flow, and going with the flow that's in your heart and in your divine, in your divinity, will allow you to awaken and grow and feel light and download all of this information and codes and activations that we are being blessed with at this time, so that we can live our authentic through our authenticity. I don't necessarily like using that word. However, I know that a lot of people identify with it. So that is what the energy of the winter solstice is about. It's about being rebirthed. It's about being born again. It's about our spiritual sun being awakened through enlightenment, the enlightenment of unity of our dark slash shadow and light slash sun in us. Letting go, going with the flow, going with our heart, being light, letting go of the expectation, being free, breaking down those beliefs and concepts and programs that we have with regards to how things are supposed to be, how things are supposed to work, how relationships are supposed to be, what life is supposed to be like. Knowing that everything that we experience is definitely for our betterment and is all part of the divine plan of our spiritual growth. So, we have about one more day in this beautiful energy before we go from the darkness to the light on the 25th. And on the 25th, we are being blessed again with some more energy. We're going to be experiencing a full moon in the sign of Cancer, and that just adds to the energy of the winter solstice. So I am going to do another vlog about the full moon in Cancer. And the greatest thing about all of this energy that I have tried to share and explain to you all for the entire year, the underlying um, the underlying energy is all about letting go, setting new intentions, and unity and balance. So like this whole year, all of the energy has been setting us up for this energy of the winter solstice, because the winter solstice is when we are given the opportunity to go through a quote unquote spiritual rebirth, so that come the next year, 2016, all of the intentions that we set, all of the hard work that we have done during the year of 2015, we could reap the benefits of that hard work in 2016 and beyond. I definitely suggest that you do your own research, sit with yourself quietly, meditate, speak to your guides and your angels and whoever you connect with to work with this energy of the winter solstice and to get your answers as to what you should be letting go, what your intention should be, what you need to be working on, if anything at all. If you feel like, you're not experiencing any of this stuff, or like, you just like in a daze because all of the energy is so intense, check this out. I have felt like that also, and I have received confirmation that even though many of us are feeling like that, we are our higher selves, our Christ presence, our I ams that I ams, are definitely still using the energy for our betterment. It's just that I am a little more sensitive to everything that's going on. I'm sure you all are sensitive um, to the energy, but sometimes life, runs its course, and you don't have the time to actually sit down and see all of the work that you have been doing and all of the growth that comes from the work that you've been doing. So if you don't see it, just be in that knowing that you definitely have been doing work, and um, that will help you as well. So I am getting hungry and I'm getting thirsty. I want a soda, and I really shouldn't be drinking soda because of all of this voluptuosity that's going on here. Um, but you know what? I'm just going to let that go, and I'm going to get me a ding dong soda. I hope I did not confuse you, but I do hope I provided you all with information that you did not know before about the winter solstice. We still have time to work with the energy, so sit in your darkness like I. Oh shoot! You know what? This just came to me. Have you all noticed that the majority of my vlogs have been in darkness? Now it just dawned on me, perhaps it was in darkness because of everything that I have been explaining, going into that dark side, into, that meditative side to identify what it is that you don't need, being by yourself, being in the darkness, the shadow. There's a lot of shadow in me, and I am loving the shadow just as much as I am loving the light, because I know that if I didn't have that shadow, I wouldn't be who I am. So yeah, maybe the darkness that I'm around is like, Elle, you really embrace it. It's like, yes, I do. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I hope that you all use the energy for your betterment, and it's not even a hope. I know that you all are going to, whether you realize it or not. I will be doing a vlog on the full moon. I'll be doing a vlog on Mars, and Mercury will soon be going into its retrograde stage. I don't know if you all are experiencing the pre-Mercury retrograde phase, but it's kind of crazy as well. But check this out. If you experience the pre-Mercury retrograde phase, that's just more information for you to use with regards to what it is that you want to hold on to or not for the coming year. Everything it all aligns. All of the energy aligns with each other so that we can grow. So we have no choice but to grow. So now I'm going to go. I'll check you later.